Sure. I didn't have much to say other than what I've said before. I think I'm also here to answer any questions anybody may have about any of the health and fitness forums or any upcoming medicals or any upcoming issues you guys may have. So here's your chance to ask any questions of me. I guess my big thing is still to push to help everybody work on their fitness and their BMIs between now and July, and try to keep themselves in the best fitness they can. So I don't know if you guys have any particular questions or if you have anything in particular you want me to address.
Hello? Hi. I got a question.
Shoot.
Hi. Just wondering, like I use a CPAP machine, right? Is there any way to get power to recharge those, the batteries or anything like that?
Yeah, now I'll just make sure if I'm wrong, Barry can correct me. There should be plenty of, you won't be the only one, there'll be a lot of people with CPAP machines there. There are at each of the, I believe, at the headquarters, each sub-camp, there will be a place for recharging. So there'll definitely be a place to have them charge up as long as they're battery powered, no problem at all.
Okay, so the only trick is to get a battery pack down there somehow.
Yeah. That's the only thing, yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to get an extension cord all the way there.
that doesn't work well.
No.
So don't plug too many times that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
yeah, I'll see.
There's also recharging stations at the medical stations in each sub-camp.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just like in other jamborees. I used to be in medical, so at least I know there's still power like before. The trick is to get a battery pack down there. Okay.
Yeah. No problem.
Okay. Thanks.
Excellent.
There's a question in the chat that says, the forum said something about being evaluated if we are not BMI 30. What does that involve?
So right now, anybody over 30, anybody over 40 will probably be subject, it'll be very hard to get approval. Anybody over 30, the Jamboree organizers will be reviewing all their health and fitness statements. It's not an absolute no-go. Anybody under 30 will be definitely fine to go. I guess if you're over 30 and there are other health problems that may lead us to be concerned about any health issues while you're there, they'll be dealt with individual with each person, and I think I'll be involved in that process as well. So it's kind of vague, I know, but as long as you know, the BMI is slightly over 30, but we have overall a good health and good fitness, there shouldn't be any major issues. I'm trying to. For some reason I can't get the chat. Oh, I got the chat. No, never mind. I'm not sure if I'm missing any of the questions there. So the hard and fast rule. I think the hard and fast rule in terms of deny, if you're over 40, it would be very difficult. If you're between 30 and 40, we're expecting people to work very hard on their fitness and their health in the meantime. But there is a possibility that there could be a limitation, maybe not so much a denied access totally, but a very stiff limitation of their activities while they're there. It's a bit important for the ISTs if they're involved in an activity that does have a lot of physical fitness involved, physical exertion involved.
I don't do that anyway.
The health and fitness statements, I keep forgetting the deadline. Barry, do you remember the deadline for the health and fitness statements? I keep forgetting.
So the absolute deadline for the health and fitness statements is June 30th, but for your benefits, our preferred receipt of them would be before the end of May.
And especially if there's any issues, the sooner they're in, if there's any issues we need to deal with, we certainly can deal with them long before the Jamboree and be well prepared to have the best Jamboree experience for everyone involved.
I have a question for Sonny.
Shoot.
I have the forms that say World Jamboree on them. There's a couple of pieces. One is a form that has to be signed by the doctor. Now, I've heard there's a second set of forms. Is that the case or not?
There will be a second set of forms coming out, and it's basically a health history form. So this has been going to be sent out by the Jamboree organizers from the Jamboree directly. And it's very important when these forms come out that everyone fill them out to the best of their abilities at the time. This is the medical information that will be available to both myself, possibly the patrol leaders if there's any medical issues within the patrol and within the IST, and to the medical facility directly. So if for some reason people need to have medical care while they're there, this is the medical history that will be available to the people on site. And if for some reason you aren't able to give a good history because of whatever may go on, this would be very important information for them to have. So they will be coming out soon, and what we're hoping to do is, but it's coming from the Jamboree directly. We want to have access to that information as well. We're hoping we can get it electronically, but we may have to have people print it off before then. But those instructions will come when the medical comes out.
So this form that I have now, I get the doctor to fill it out, sign it, and send it to you.
Yeah.
You're going to deal with it. Like, I'm not going to pass the BMI 30.
Yeah.
But I just had a complete extensive go over by the doctor.
Yeah.
And the blood pressure's good, the cholesterol's good, all blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So.
And that's sort of the, there'll be a lot of people on that sort of thing, on that sort of borderline. As long as the rest, if you're in the low 30s, and as long as your other health is very good, then we shouldn't have much issues with those sort of things. But the sooner you can get the forms in, then we can certainly get the information back out to you, and any issues we might have, the sooner the better.
Thanks very much. I'll get somebody to sign it this week.
Sounds great.
Hey, Sonny, there's a question about the medical history being filled out by a doctor. Can you respond to that?
Well, that medical history is just to be filled out by yourselves, and so it's basically all the health issues that you have, you fill it out yourself, and all your medications and allergies and things like that. I don't think you'll need to have much doctor's input on that form. It's pretty straightforward. Similar to a form you might fill out if you're going to a hospital or going to a doctor yourself. Your health history.
Speaking of these medical forms, the only ones that I've received so far was all with the initial stuff in that, and I haven't received any of these others that I think you're talking about. What's
the only one that's been sent out now is the health and fitness form, which is a one-page form that has to be filled out by a physician where you they have to give the BMI and they have to make a comment whether they think you're fit or you have some concerns during the thing. So it's a one-page form. The other ones haven't come out yet in terms of the health history forms. They're not supplied yet. Have you received the health and fitness statement form yet?
No, I have not received that form that I have to go to the doctor for at all yet.
Okay. Might hand that off to George or Barry to figure out.
Yes. Sorry, it's George. Mike there was not on my lists until just recently, so I will make sure that you get that email tonight.
Okay.
I think George, I think there's a couple other people in the chat box that have a comment there too that they haven't received it yet.
I'll check to see. I thought Derek was in my list all the time, but I'll check to see if he's there. And I'll always resend it.
Yeah. Another one. I'm going to be making everyone. Did you get a lot of turnout there? No, Doug came to. I told you. It's December, right? I think they're getting to small.
So there is one question about is a nurse practitioner signature okay? As long as it's a nurse practitioner that has a relationship with you and knows you, that should be no problem. As long as they're any sort of primary healthcare provider, either a nurse practitioner or a family physician, would be no problem.
day 4. I feel like I'm a little bit behind. I ended up having to shift gears, going away from my Damascus billets. So I grabbed a big chunk of 4041, got the blade completely forged. I'm going to cast this bronze handle today. If I have enough time, I'm going to try to pull some of the weight off the sword. Get fired up. I've decided to cast directly onto my tang. It's going to save time. There won't be a bunch of drilling and filing. If I can pull off with some one-shot deal, hope everything goes well. I capture the details of the handle that I want to capture. It should look pretty cool.
I'm not sure if that was actually someone for.
I don't know what happened.
If you're not talking, can you please mute your phones?
All right.
All right. If there's.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Is there any other questions? If not, I'll let you further. And if I'll keep an eye on the chat box. Anything else, let me know. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to email me. I've been answering a few issues as time goes by. Please feel free to email me, and I'll get back to you. No problem.
Hey, George,
right.
Is Robert Graham there somewhere? I don't know what he's asking a question about bags, but I'm not sure what he's talking about.
It's probably if everyone who's received a group flight registration, it says they have 0 bags. Oh, am I unmuted? Make sure I am unmuted. But that's just a placeholder for now. There will be there will be a bag allowance. It's just because you're on a group booking at the moment. That answer your question?
Robert, if you're there, let us know.
Or answer in the chat. Okay. I'm just looking at my agenda. We've done health and fitness, closure, travel arrangements. So unfortunately, neither Doug nor Andrea are on. But if anybody has any questions about travel, certainly you can ask or send me an email, and I'll make sure they get passed on to Doug and Andrea. One thing I want to make sure that everyone here, I know we said it before, but it came up in an email earlier, I think, that ISTs are, for the most part, not going to Washington. If for whatever reason your travel arrangements have you think you're going to, please get in touch with myself or Andrea about that, because there is no facilities for you to go to Washington first. That makes sense? Sorry, Robert, I'm not, can you ask your question instead of typing it? What do you mean, so we should hold on the bags then? Hello? I'm not.
Yeah, I'm looking for him. Hang on one sec.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess I could have done that too.
I see him here, but I don't see a mute or unmute. I'm not sure how he's on.
Just dialed in then? Maybe he's just dialed in. So I guess if you're asking about, you said, so should we hold on the bags then? If you've been booked on a flight and it says 0, then yes, there will be more information about that from the travel team at some point in the future. If there are no other questions about travel, then we will carry on to so some ISTs are traveling with others who are going to Washington and need to make their way to West Virginia. This is still not clear. So Andrea said this. If you're dropping somebody off in Washington and then carrying on as an IST to the site, that might be allowed, but I didn't. I thought there was something that we, and Barry, can you correct me here or jump in? There was an email that came out a little while ago that it's not a preferred travel arrangement, that because there is no, like if you go to Washington, it's expected you're parking your car in Washington and staying there. If you're going to Washington and dropping them off, that may be okay, but remember, ISTs have to be on site by July 17th. Does that sound right, Barry?
So ISTs actually need to be at the Jamboree site on July the 18th, not the 17th.
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
July the 18th. The problem that with the ISTs dropping people off at Washington and then carrying on to the site, there's no problem with that process. The problem comes when the return home occurs and the youth leave the site on August the 2nd, and the IST can't leave the site until August the 3rd. So, so that creates a problem for any youth or participants who were brought by the IST. What the Barry group is doing is actually will be staying near the Jamboree site and then meeting up with the IST who were the drivers the next day, and then returning to Southern Ontario the next day. So that's where the problem is. It's leaving the Jamboree, not going to the Jamboree.
Right. Is there? Excellent. Thank you, Barry, for that. Are there any other travel questions? If not, we'll carry on into whatever agenda we had. So registrations of the ISTs assigned to the CMT and the main site. I can speak to that. I hope we'll get it right. So some the people that are assigned to things like Food House and Canada House and any of the other contingent positions, they are being called CMT in the system now. And that was to get around some limitations in the host site so that they weren't part of the general IST pool. I believe that's what that point was about. So that will affect the Canada House people, the Food House people, and some of the service scouters as well. Is there anything else on that you wanted to talk about, Barry?
Yeah, just a summary of where we are on that right now. There's somewhere close to 200 IST altogether, the CMT or IST altogether. And so at the present time, the team for the Canada House is full, and those people will become CMT. The team for Global Development Village Program is full, and those people are likely to be a part of CMT as well. And the service, service and support team is full, and they definitely will be members of the CMT. And then there's also people assigned to Marcom. I believe that's full. And there's one person assigned to work with admin, and that person is already identified. Where there are additional IST required to work with the CMT is in Food House, where they're asking for 30 people to support the Food House, and at present they have 15. So they will be recruiting and up to 15 more people for the food house. So that all together will actually bring the number of people on the CMT up to close to 100. So there'll be 100 IST that are involved with jobs with the Jamboree planning team, and they will be IST. And the other 100 will be identified as CMT, and their roles are with the contingent management team. There will be schedules for those people as to when they're working and when they're off. There'll be training from the CMT team leads. I've already started training with the service scouters, for example, and we will be continuing with that. Glenn Bradley, who has program, will be training with the people assigned to his teams, and Rebecca will be training the people assigned to Marcom. So that's basically the process. With people who are CMT, we have basically control over their comings and goings and their schedule and all those sorts of things. With the people who are IST reporting to the Jamboree planning team, we don't have control over their schedule or their job assignments. All of those are determined by members of the Jamboree planning team. So that's an overview of where we're at in terms of the adult non-participant part of the contingent. So if there are any questions related to that, now would probably be a good time to ask. Okay, I think my explanation was probably good enough. So George, if you want to go on.
Actually, the next item on the agenda is yours. It was the IST handbook.
Okay, we had an update on that at the recent team leads meeting, which was last week. And the Marcom people are making good progress on preparing chapters for the handbook. So we are anticipating the handbooks coming out hopefully by March. So that's that's the timeline we're currently aiming for, with a separate handbook for IST, a separate handbook for youth participants, and a separate handbook for adult participants.
Any questions about that? So that's the last item on our agenda, as is. The next is just general questions and answers.
Well, can I interject? Beth?
Oh, of course.
Beth had a question that I'm hoping Sunny could jump in and answer. So with the med forms, there are apparently two forms. I got the WJ1 for contingent. Can we hope they are similar? And I think Sunny can answer that. If he's no longer on, I can.
So this is the Jamboree med forms, Barry, you're talking about? One second.
Okay, so Beth is asking about 2 med forms, and there are 2 med forms. The one med form is the declaration by a physician.
Okay.
And so somebody filling that out, all they have to do is put the name of the youth or name of the adult on the form, take it to a physician. The physician fills it out, provides his or her contact information. You scan it, send it to you, and it's done. So now I've done half the job. Can you do the other half on the other form?
So the other form, the WJ form, is the form that will have all the information for your health, basically it's a personal health information form. So that doesn't need to go to a physician. That's just one that you'll go through on your own, fill out all your medications, your health issues, your allergies, and they do ask, I think, about food allergies and things like that. And so this will be the main form that will be used as a health information by by both myself and the medical facilities on site. So that's the best of the health history that we'll have to go on for both the youth and the ISTs as they're there.
Yeah, if I can just add that health and the health history form does ask about environmental allergies, about food allergies, and then it has a list of about 25 possible medical conditions, including diabetic, heart, lungs, asthma, all those sorts of things. And they're all yes, no questions, basically.
I think at the bottom of the form, there's a place where you can put in a description of your health. If there's a health issue there that's relevant, that we can add in. Certainly the list is pretty comprehensive, but not exhaustive by no means. So if there is a health concern that you have or health history that you have, by all means, add everything in there. The more information that's there, the better. And it's any ability to explain if there is a current health issue that may be being dealt with, or something that's probably been managed but could crop up in the future. Certainly it's a place to add all that sort of information there. The more information that you add on there, the better.
Although at this point, there's no prize for having the most information.
Actually, I'll put a prize as hopefully a medical contingent badge for the person with the most information there. I think it is limited to 250 characters in the form, but you can certainly put an attachment on there if you need to. And like I said, the health and fitness form is for the physician to fill out, but the health information form is just filled out by yourself.
Mike is asking about the badge. You have a medical team badge that you just offered as a prize. You want to describe it?
Yep. So the medical team will be having some badges to trade. It's specific for the medical team for the World Jamboree. I'll give credit where credit is due. William Chan did the design on it, and it's actually in the shape of a Band-Aid with the medical team and a crest and the World Jamboree site on it. So, I think the more illnesses you have, the more badges you get. No, I'm only kidding on that one. But yeah, the health history form. That's. I'm trying to remember when that is coming out. Barry or Chris might know that better than I do. Very, very soon, isn't it?
Sorry, what was the question?
When is the health fitness form coming out? The health information form, sorry, the health information form.
The instructions that came with the sample said the first quarter of 2019. So
okay.
That gives them up to the end of March to get them out.
Yeah.
I actually do have a copy of what the form actually looks like. And so I know you can't see the details, but you can see the kind of information. It's just tick boxes that you're going to tick off for the various categories. But that's what this is, a sample of what the form is actually going to look like. I believe you'll get it probably could be an Excel, or it could be an interactive PDF.
Barry, earlier you mentioned about the IST's information booklet being coming out in March. How would that be coming out? A PDF one?
So in order to save trees, what they will do is put a link to it on the FAQ page on the WJ website. It will likely go on Facebook as well. Since Chris is on the call, he might be able to add information that would come from Rebecca. So Chris, can you add anything?
Yeah, it'll be a PDF. So there'll be a download link to PDF will be what it is. Please, that's what I'll recommend to my wife. How's that?
Thank you.
No problem.
Anyone have any general questions? So, well, and while people are thinking, one, everything's been moved. The videos are being moved to YouTube. I hope everyone's got that now. When this is done, when Chris gets a chance, this will go up there as well. There is a Facebook group for ISTs. Everyone hopefully has the link for that now. There's some discussion that goes on there. Everything that gets posted there I send out as well, except for all the questions that people are asking. As to Robert, I will send you an email after this again with the two links. If you haven't been on it, the WJ itself has some excellent videos and stuff on their site. As someone else said, the BSA site has some pretty good things on the Jamboree. I know on the Jamborees, the Facebook site for the Jamboree itself has had some videos of the site and some overviews and some flybys, and they're looking pretty cool. They're definitely I recommend checking it out. I will post the links in the chat in just a moment. Everyone's asking for them. The YouTube channel link is on the Facebook group, but I'll send them both out. Kent had a question that I agree. Ask it here and ask it in our group, and or ask it in the World Jamboree group, because there's a question in there about footwear. There's questions about a bunch of other things that are quite good. And it's probably, if you question, someone else probably does as well. Yeah.
George, I have a question, please.
Yes.
Okay, I have the health and fitness statement in front of me. At the top, it says completed by the participant. Section 2, completed by physician. Someone mentioned earlier about scanning this and sending it, I think, to either Barry or Sunny. So where am I scanning and sending that scan to, please?
You should send it to Dr. Sunny. His address is in the email that I sent out. I don't want your medical forms. Let's make that clear now. It's best to go to Dr. Sunny directly. Maybe he can. I think if you're talking Dr. Sunny, we can't actually hear you.
No, you can scan it, or what some people actually do is just take a picture with your phone and send that to either one. As long as I can make out the name and the signature and the information on the form, it doesn't matter which way you get it to me. Actually, I do believe I'm receiving it by regular mail.
let them know your email address?
Yeah,
Yes, please. Yes, please.
it's very easy. I'll put it in the chat room, but it's my name, sonnycollis@gmail.com. So no N. People make it a Collins a lot.
Thank you very much. That answers the question there. Oh, here we go. You're bringing it up on the chat. Perfect.
There you go. Make sure I spelled it right. Yeah.
This has been a very helpful session for ISTs tonight. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Oh, there's the YouTube one, so I'll just put the Facebook group one. Are there any other questions? Comments? You can always message me. Everyone has my email. I'm usually paying attention to the Facebook group. The next meeting, I have the date right in front of me, but should be 2 months from last week. So should be about the middle of March 20th or thereabouts, whatever that works out to be. We'll get the information, the correct information out to you before that. It'll be sent in an email and posted in the Facebook group. Anything else?
So George,
Go ahead, sorry.
you said you'd be sending me those medical forms that I hadn't received yet, or who was going to be sending them to me?
I did believe I sent it to you already, but I'll check again.
Okay, I
during
just haven't checked, so.
Yeah, I just sent it to Derek. Derek should have received it, and I believe you should have received it. If not, I'll check and then let me know. Also, there is I created a Google sheet for carpooling from Ontario. There's a few names on there. I'm not sure how many. I think there's 3 or 4 of us anyways. If you are in Ontario and are interested in carpool, let me know. I approve all the members for the Facebook group, if that's what you're asking. If you go to the link there and request just have him to the link, and then I will approve him if he's an IST. If there are no other questions, then we'll give everyone some time back tonight. And if you have anything else you think of after this, just send me an email. Have a good night, everyone.